lot to cover today. It's probably going to go closer to an hour and a half than just an hour. I know we usually do these trainings at an hour, but I'll zip through it. I'm going to cover a lot. I am going to post the notes on our share drive afterwards, and then also the video will be on the 805 Academy YouTube channel eventually. So if people weren't able to make it, they can, or if you guys want to go back and review it, you can view it there. But I do want to suggest that those of you that are new to the business, you can just kind of listen as we go along and take note and then go back and review notes. For those of you that are seasoned agents in the audience, I want to challenge you guys to, as I talk about different things, to make note of things that you're not doing that you think, oh, I should fill that hole. I should do that. So just some thoughts that way. So anyway, oh, what did I do with my clicker? Oh, there it is. And we are going to be off and running. So I am now 37 years in the business, which is more years than what some of the people in the audience here have been alive. Not that I'm feeling old or anything, but about 16 years ago, Ed and I took on an adventure to go up and franchise Aviar Real Estate up in Westlake Village. And at that time, we kind of thought we were going to be slowing down our business and actually probably maybe even retiring and going into working our ministry more fully. Well, we went into working the ministry more fully, but we didn't really unwind our business. In fact, things kind of evolved that we started to develop a team. And I wish I knew then that 16 years later we'd still be working the business, because we aren't formally selling and haven't sold in like about 14 years. But what we have done is pass through business to our team, and had we planned it more appropriately, I would have actually transitioned our social sphere over to our team more appropriately. Hindsight's always, 20/20, but at this point, we can't go back and recap all that. But I want to say that given the fact that we so diligently worked our social sphere when we were very actively in the business, we're still literally getting leads today from our social sphere with very minimal touches, because I'm not working it like I used to. Just this last 2 weeks, I've had 4 leads that I've been able to pass through to our team, and one that I'm working to solidify so it can become a 5th lead that we could pass through to our team. So if that sounds interesting to you, that even after you aren't working it as hard, if you've done the right things, you can still be getting a lot of referrals, then I hope that piques your ears to kind of hear what I'm going to share today. Now, there are a lot of different ways that we can prospect for business in real estate, and I would venture to say that they all work if you do them the biggest and best way possible. But the one method that everybody should be doing is working their sphere of influence. I don't care if you're brand new to the business or you're brand new to the state, there is a sphere of influence that you can tap into that you can start to work. And certainly once you've been in the business for a period of time or lived in a community for a period of time, you've got a really solid, good sphere. So that's what we're going to be talking about today, is working that sphere of influence to create raving fans. So I want to start by talking about sphere of influence and what the word influence actually means. Influence is the capacity to have an effect on the behavior of someone. So when we're working our sphere of influence, are we working to influence them for business, or are we hoping that they influence others to bring business to us? And I would venture to say both. But it starts with us having a positive influence on them in order to draw them to want to rave about us to others and tell them to work with us as well. So let's start with kind of a foundational part that's going to be good for the newer people, but maybe a little review for the seasoned agents in the room. But who is our sphere of influence? You immediately think of friends, family, maybe past work associates, that type of thing. But I would say that most people make their sphere of influence too small, and they don't think as broad and as big as they possibly can. One of the handouts that I'll be posting on our share drive is just pages and pages of different people you might think of. But one of the areas that I think a lot of us miss is anybody that you bring business to should be part of your sphere of influence. If you get your hair done, if you get your nails done, if you have a window cleaner, if you have a carpet cleaner that you use, if you go to the dentist, if you have a doctor, you're bringing business to all of these people. And if you work it correctly, hopefully you're on top of mind for them then to bring business to you. So some of the things that are in that, on those sheets that I'll be handing out, those will help you expand your thought as to who you should put in your sphere of influence. The idea is not to be too selective, that make it as broad as you possibly can, because what you're kind of doing, it's almost like you're sifting for gold. You're looking for those people out there that are influencers, that are the type of people that are connectors, and they're those people that when they know somebody's got a need, they're gonna try and match that need and put them together. And they're few and far between, but when you get those, they are golden. And so don't be too selective, because people are gonna surprise you. Some of the people that like, know, and trust you, and they will absolutely use you for business, they may never think to refer you, even though they think you're wonderful. And then others that you barely know are connectors and influencers, and they will match you with people. Now, one of the things that's kind of interesting is people are staying in their homes longer and longer. From the time I started in the business, it was a much smaller time frame that people stayed in their homes before making a move. Now, NAR says it's anywhere from 12 to 15 years that people are staying in their home. So in your sphere, that means you would get a sale every, say, 12 years. But let's make it a little better and say that, okay, you get the person's looking to sell and then buy something in the community. So let's say that you can get a sale out of people one every 6 years or so. So that's what you can look at, your social sphere, and kind of figure out the amount of sales that you'll get depending on the size and quality of your social sphere. But I want to show you how it actually multiplies and gets better. If in fact you do find some of those connectors in there, and they're good for actually referring about one good solid lead a year. And so now all of a sudden, instead of somebody being worth one sale every 6 years, you've got people that are worth 7 sales in 6 years. And so you're multiplying it. And when you get multiples of this, you now all of a sudden have a really good quality business going. And you can really quickly grow the amount of business you're doing. Now, you might say, well, is this really as effective as you say? Well, why don't you take a look at where the source of business comes from for Regency. We do these every single year, and I've been tracking them for years. And the people, excuse me, that I would say are part of our sphere of influence would be what we categorize here as social sphere. Repeat clients would certainly be part of our sphere of influence. Referrals are coming from our sphere of influence, and our family, I hope, are part of our sphere of influence. And so when you add all that up, it comes to 75% of Regency's business comes from sphere of influence. Pretty cool, huh? And that was 2019. But as I say, I've been tracking these year over year, and it's always in the 70s. It's anywhere from like 72 to 79% Regency's business comes from sphere of influence. So it's very consistent. So the first thing you need to do is kind of pull together who is in your database. And you're gonna wanna put that into a CRM, a customer relationship management system. And there's a lot of great ones out there, but I'll tell you, there aren't a whole lot that are much better than what we are provided through our multiple listing service with LionDesk. It's excellent. Excuse me. LionDesk has a lot of great features, and they keep improving the features that they provide for us. So I'm gonna kind of use baseball analogies as I go through my talk today, because I'm talking about creating raving fans. Mm-hmm. And so as you start to pour everybody into your database and put all the information into it, whether it's LionDesk or another, I want you to not be selective, pour as many as you can in there, but as you put them in, then I want you to go back and kind of tag them. LionDesk allows you to add tags, so I'd have an A and a B list, or using the baseball analogy, the minors and the majors. So you've got people that are your A+ leads. And those are the people that are in the major leagues. They're the ones that would certainly like, know, and trust you and use you if they were thinking to buy or sell. But you're also hoping that you can cultivate them into being some of those golden people that will actually be referring you as well. The minor leagues are kind of everybody else. It's people that you hope to kind of get into the majors and want to create and cultivate so that they become those raving fans, but that you don't necessarily have that close-knit a connection with them yet. So you'll want to make those A and B lists. And I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that as we go a little further. Now, following my baseball theme, it's every little leaguer's dream to go into the majors. And this is my cute little son, Corey, when he was in Little League. Now he's all grown up over here.
I was going to say, in baseball, you must have boys, right?
Yeah, and that's his buddy, Joey, but who actually became a really good soccer player in baseball. But, every little leaguer dreams of getting into the major leagues. But it takes, good talent, well, actually exceptional talent, because the competition gets greater and greater as they get older, and a really strong work ethic to do all the right things to get into that level of playing ball. But the cool thing is that every person here has the ability to be that superstar in real estate, because we all have the ability to develop the skills that are necessary. It's not an abnormal amount of talent that it takes, but it does take that really strong work ethic, just like it does to get into the major leagues in baseball. So where lack of talent might hold back a striving baseball player, it really isn't something that's going to hold us back in real estate. In fact, Ed, in one of his earlier talks, I just want to recap this briefly, but he talked about SAMM, the little acronym, SAMM, and talking about what it really takes to succeed in real estate. And the first thing is skills. But the skills are all learnable. So it's not like, you have to be a brain surgeon, you have extreme knowledge that way. And it's not like you have to be a baseball player with these exceptional talents. The skills that we need for real estate are all learnable by everybody in this room. Just like a baseball player, we need to have a really super positive attitude. We can have days where, we strike out and it doesn't go so well. Well, just like baseball players, you got to pick yourself up and get in the game again tomorrow and get back in with a really positive attitude. So as Ed recommended, perhaps having a statement of attitude that you review every single day to help keep your attitude in the right place. Now, he also talked about having a map, and I'm going to call it a game plan since I'm using the baseball analogy. And that's what I'm going to spend some good time on is the game plan that really is a winning game plan for your sphere of influence. And then motor, which is your work ethic. And this is where I'd say the majority of realtors separate themselves, is those that are really willing to get in there and do the work and do it consistently and do it to the extent it needs to be done versus those that kind of take the easy way. I would say that this room is filled, actually it's pretty full, with people that are go-getters, because you guys were willing to come out, even given today's climate of COVID, and get out here and come to this seminar. Other people are kind of hunkering down at home and they aren't willing to get out there and do it. And I'm going to share with you some specific things that people are doing even right now with the COVID that are setting them apart. So the next thing that we need to do before you even play the game is you have to prep the field. And in this, it's creating a social media footprint. Today, that's one of the primary ways that we want to be in touch and connecting with our social sphere. They say that the statistics show that by year 2021, there's going to be 3 billion people regularly using social media. And that today, the average person is on social media for about 2.5 hours a day. So we need to go where the people are. If they're there, we need to get out there and do it. So these are some foundational things, and this is where the seasoned agents, if you haven't really set up this footprint correctly, I hope you'll fill the gaps here. But first of all, you need to have a professional looking website. It shows a level of professionalism, and whether or not you're driving business to there, Some agents are really going after that. I'm not talking about that today because that's more getting new leads, but I'm talking about your sphere that already knows you. They're gonna check out your website and see how professional you're looking. Or if they refer you to someone, they're gonna go to your website and check it out. If it's been a little while since you've updated your website, you can look tired and old by your website. So it may be time to get in there and upgrade it a little bit and do some updates. There's a lot of good companies that do realtor websites. I will have that in my notes, and so I'm not gonna say them all right now, but it will be in the follow-up notes there. Now, the next thing is how many people here have really put an investment of time into doing your LinkedIn profile and getting that really dialed in? You might think, very good, show of hands, that's great. So that's a really important one that I think a lot of people overlook. But first of all, it's where professionals are. And don't think that they won't go there to check out your profile. It was interesting, we were meeting with some people the other day, and we've been posting more videos and such that are linking through our LinkedIn profile. And somebody that I ran into, a friend, said, "Oh, I've been seeing your videos on LinkedIn." So believe me, people are looking there. I remember years ago when Ines was just starting in the business, she was doing one of her early open houses, and I happened to pop by, and a gentleman had come in and was talking to her, and she was able to, he definitely had some interest in doing something, and she gave him her card, but he wouldn't give her the contact information or anything. She couldn't get that. But she got a call from him the next day, and he said one of the things he was out doing was shopping for realtors through open houses, and he went back and checked their websites and their LinkedIn profiles, and she was the one that he wanted to work with because she had such a quality profile online. So important to have that good footprint there. Another thing about LinkedIn, and I hadn't even thought about this that much, but at Inman just recently, they were talking about how LinkedIn is one of the greatest places for agents to do referrals for out of area. So don't be shy about letting on realtors and lenders and such to follow your profile, because they may refer you business down the road, which is really kind of cool. Now, another thing you want to do is go in and make sure your profiles are complete in areas like realtor.com and Zillow, homes.com, Trulia. Are there any others that anybody is aware of that we should be doing? Those are the primary ones that I think of as setting foundationally in the business. If you think of something later, let me know. But those are ones that you want to have your full profile filled in. And then you have to decide which social media platforms you're going to actually use to engage with your social sphere. There's obviously Instagram and Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok. Talk briefly about that. I think the two that you absolutely need to tap into are Instagram and Facebook, and you need to do both business and personal sites on those to really fully connect with your sphere of influence. Beyond that, the next up and comer right now that's really in the buzz with both the social media experts, and then also Inman again at the Inman conference, they were talking a lot about YouTube and setting up a YouTube channel and posting regularly there. Talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Twitter, I have never really myself, I do have a Twitter account, but I haven't really used it very extensively, but I do know realtors that have definitely tapped into that as one of their sources of business. So it's something to consider. And then TikTok, this was kind of interesting. I don't know if there's a lot of business to be had off of TikTok, but I think of it as young kids dancing and doing, moves and stuff. But apparently, and I went in and checked this out, at Inman they were talking about how if you post like a video of a home, say a tour of a home, and put that on TikTok, that whereas when you do that on Instagram or Facebook, you might get a few likes and such, on TikTok, you'll literally get thousands of people that watch your video. And I went in, and sure enough, the people that had posted real estate information, there are people watching it on TikTok. So I don't know. It might be a place for
Dance
this.
at a house would be even better.
I guess so.
Well,
So-
you're the dancer, you'll have lots of views.
And the reason I mention this, because it seemed silly to me when I heard it, but oftentimes if you're the early adopter that gets in there and really makes a name for yourself in some of these new platforms, you can be the leading force there. So once you establish what platforms you're going to use, then you need to friend, like, and invite people to like your pages, everyone that's in your sphere of influence, everyone you can connect with that way. Now, one of the cool things that you can do is with your database is you can actually import your database into Facebook and set up a targeted group. And if you have emails and phone numbers that match with their profile within Facebook, they'll make them part of that group. So you just import your whole database. Even better, if you should happen to use LionDesk as your CRM, LionDesk has a new feature now where you can advertise from LionDesk directly into Facebook. I don't know if it does Instagram too, but Facebook at any rate. So the things I talk about here are kind of a platform that you want to lay out and you know, preparing the field, like I say, and create this footprint. If you have some gaps in it, if you've been established in the business for a while and you've got some gaps, you can't really prepare the field after the game starts. You've got to like do it before the game starts. But there is a 7th inning stretch where they go out and they kind of fine tune the field. So that's what I look at the seasoned agents doing, is going in and kind of, you know, in the middle of the game, cleaning up the field a little bit and refreshing it. Because it's really important to have the right equipment if you're gonna succeed. So the next part to this whole sphere of influence and tapping into them is game promotion. If people don't know that you're in the game, then they aren't gonna think of you to use you for real estate or to refer you for real estate. So you need to let them know. So whether you're brand new in the business, you can, if you are brand new in the business, you can tell them, you know, introduce your new career to people. If you're new to Regency, you can introduce that you've just been invited to join an office that's invitation only and that you were selected to come into this company. If in fact you're already established, both in the business and at Regency, then what I really recommend you doing is initiating a Hall of Fame. It's something we did a lot of years ago, but it was where we wanted to give kind of our 5-star service, and we put out correspondence to each of our people in our sphere of influence and told them that we were establishing a client Hall of Fame, and we outlined all the things that we would be doing for them within this client Hall of Fame. So you got to think of the extra level of services that you'll provide, and it has to be not only when they're thinking of buying or selling, but just in between, you know, those types of things. So it might be that you'll provide notary service, or that you would always provide them with any referrals that they need for any kind of services on their home, and that you'll be putting out good information to them about just information in the business and building their wealth and that type of thing. So you'll want to put out to them that you're starting this client Hall of Fame and that you want to induct them into your client Hall of Fame. Now, once you establish the way you want to put it out there, the format, the design and what have you, then you need to send it out in all different formats, because this is your blast to really establish yourself as, you know, this next level of business that you're going to be providing to your clients. So you want to mail it out, you want to Facebook post it, you want to email it out. And I'll tell you what, with email, you get an A+, and you go to the head of the class if you do a video message rather than just a, you know, a print type thing. I know Will Scott was really good about that. I told him about LionDesk, and that the week we met with him to come over here, and the next week he was on LionDesk. It was like crazy, and he was doing video and everything through it. And that's one of the cool things, is it does allow you to do video to your clientele. It allows you to text them. There's so many different formats that you can reach out to your client base right through LionDesk. And I know there's other good CRMs. I'm not paid by LionDesk, by the way. It's kind of exciting to have such a good tool through our own multiple listing service, or board of realtors. So email it, text it. And again, you could do a video text that you personalize to your, especially your A+ clients, do a quick little video message, letting them know that you're starting this new program and you want to invite them to be part of it. If in fact you don't have people's contact information, then you can private message them through Facebook if you can at least find them there. And so that's another way to make contact with people. Now, I want to encourage you, you've sent it out all these ways and you're going to go, oh, people are going to get sick of me. No, they're not. Believe me, people love to see other people succeed, and right now you've asked them for nothing. You're just announcing, you're telling them, you're inviting them to be part of your Hall of Fame. I want you to follow up with a phone call, and in that you're going to either introduce that you've started a new career or that you're doing this Hall of Fame, kind of the same thing. And if in fact, let's say you've been an agent in the business for quite a while and you've maybe let things slip a little bit and haven't kept in touch, you haven't been doing a really good touch with your sphere of influence, be honest. Say something to the effect of, I haven't always kept in touch like I should have. So instead of being such a stranger, I'm starting this new program and this new way that I'm going to be keeping touch and keeping my clients informed. And so just be honest with them. And then anybody that you don't have all the contact information from, because you've already put everybody into your database, you know who you have contact information for and who you don't. You know where you're missing maybe an email, or maybe you've got the wife's but not the husband's, or vice versa, or you've got a work phone but you don't have a home phone, or whatever. So fill in those gaps when you're talking to him on the phone. It gives you another reason to kind of chit chat for a bit and just touch base. Again, you're not asking for anything. In fact, one of our strong positions in the business was that we were very present with our clients, but we never ever asked for business. Now, when they indicated a need, we were all over wanting to provide and help with whatever they have, but we never actually showed up in front of them and said, do you know anyone that's thinking of buying or selling, or are you thinking of buying and selling? We never did that, because I kind of figured nobody would want to ever talk to me again. So at any rate, as you talk to them, gather the information you need, and then if you don't have a phone number, again, use the Facebook direct message to get a hold of people. Now, the amount of at-bats you get has a lot to do with the way you practice. In fact, players who question their play time should first question their practice time. And so athletes, baseball players, they have a whole regiment that they go through, even during the off season, preparing for the new season that's coming up. Then during the season, they've got practice that they do every single week, and even more so the day of. They've got just whole little routines that they go through and practices that they do. Well, it's the same thing with us in real estate. We have to have some consistent practices and consistent ways that we're in touch with our sphere of influence if in fact we want to really be top of mind and create those raving fans. And so that's what I want to talk about next, is how we touch people with just in soft touches and then the more personal touches. Now the soft touches I'm going to talk about first. Remember I said you have an A client list and a B client list. You've got the people that are in the majors and the people that are in the minors. Well, the soft touches that we're going to talk about, those are for all the people. So everybody's going to be touched in these ways. First of all, you want to regularly post to your social media. So the platforms that you set up, you want to set up a consistency in which you're touching people through that. The posts on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, those should be done daily. And I know some of these things I'm going to say, you're going to go, that's way too much. I'm going to tell you these are not too much. And again, what it's going to rely back on is whether or not you're putting out good content. You've got to have good content, and it's so available out there. I'm not going to go into the content so much today, but that should never be the thing that holds you up. So one of the things you'll want to do though is kind of keep it more client-centric than self-centric. A lot of Facebook, Instagram is all about us, you know, selfies and such. But you want to, in this instance, make it a little bit more client-centric. And what I mean by that is, well, here's a good example. Melody with Dana Milley and Associates, she, during the COVID-19, did this, and it says, "You've been egged and TP'd by Melody and Associates," and she has a roll of toilet paper and a what do you call it, package of eggs. And I thought that was so cute, and she did that all throughout her social sphere. She posted about it each time she did it, so it kind of came up in social media feeds on a regular basis, but it was kind of cute, fun, and client-centric. Now she's not, this wave is kind of past as far as the TP and such, but it was really cute in the moment that she was doing it. It was very appropriate. So much so that she actually got the Innovator of the Year award for this and other things that she did, but Innovator of the Year award for Inman, and that's a pretty big deal, let me tell you. So, because it's nationwide, and she was chosen as the #1 innovator. So kind of think outside the box a little bit, but as I say, keep it more client-centric. The other thing you can do is keep it product-centric, which would be like home tours and that type of thing, which is always good. And the more you, as much as I say don't make it about you, the more you put yourself in it, so doing videos and such, you are more real and relatable then. If you put a little humor in it, like she did here, you're more real and relatable. And those are the things that draw people to want to work with you. And so keeping those things in mind. Be more than just a realtor, because people aren't always in buy-sell mode. But if you keep it interesting to where you're giving out good information all the time that they can use whether or not they're thinking of buying or selling, then they're gonna keep you in their feed, so to speak. So anything to do with the home. And financial growth is the other thing. Amy's really good about, I think, really talking about, I want to help you build your financial wealth, not just, buy and sell homes. And so she looks at the bigger picture that way. Now, the other thing too is be there as the go-to referral person for everything. So if they need a window cleaner, if they need a carpet cleaner, if they need a garage door repair person, you want them to be thinking of you for those things. So let them know that you've got good resources for this. It was kind of funny and a little bit to the extreme. We did a lot of these things within our Geo Farm years back. And I remember one day I got a phone call from one of the people in our farm that she goes, "Angie, my kitchen I just had a fire in my kitchen. What should I do?" And I thought, well, have you called the fire department? And she goes, "Oh, yeah. They've already been here and gone," because it was a pretty good fire. She goes, "But what do I do now?" And I said, "Well, you probably next want to call your insurance company. Have you done that?" She goes, No, that's true. I should call them." I go, "Yeah, call them. And then as you get going with the, rehabbing your kitchen, if you need any referrals, we'll be here for anything that you might need, and I'll help you out that way." In one way, I thought it was funny that she would call us, but another way I thought, wow, she thought to call us for something that was really outside of our wheelhouse, but we were one of the first people she thought to call. I'm glad she called the fire department first. Now, some people, it gets really intimidating to do all these postings and such, and if that's your case, then you can outsource them. I will tell you, outsourcing is not as good, but it's better than not doing it. So if you need to outsource, there's some great places you can outsource to actually get good material and consistency in what you're posting out there. Oh, here. Sorry, I lost my place. So a couple areas one of the really good areas if you're looking for content, and I'll have this in my notes too, but is keeping current matters. A lot of agents use that. Realtor.com has a lot of things. I know that Verity's really good about using Planoly.com and using that to help schedule her things. And then she also uses the uncommonagent.com because it's not that uncommon, it's uncommon-agent.com, but that's actually the wife of a realtor who is, she's a photographer, and she takes beautiful photography and then puts good little sayings that you can post and stuff, really good for Instagram and such. But I'm telling you, these things really work. Try Elevate is another one that they do the websites and everything, but they will post to your social media and even onto YouTube and such. So a lot of these companies are starting to integrate the social media, so kind of check them out and see which might fit best for you if you aren't in a place to want to do it yourself. But it really works. I'm going to use Stephanie as a example here. She just recently got, out of the blue, a client calling her and saying, can you come do a listing presentation for me? And she didn't even know who these people were. But as she got there and talked a little bit more, she found out that one of her raving fans was really good about regularly reposting a lot of what Stephanie did and endorsing her. And so these people that knew this friend said that we just kept seeing your name everywhere, and so we called you in to give us a listing presentation. So it's really cool when you can create those raving fans and get that kind of notoriety going. You literally will get listings out of the blue. Now, another thing, I've talked about the daily posting and such. Now, I really want to encourage you to blog weekly. And you might say, oh, I don't want to write a blog. I don't either. But again, there's really good companies out there that will do this for you. We happen to have our website through Wingwire, and they do a regular 2 posts to my social media each week, and then they do an e-newsletter that goes out. And each of these is written like a blog. It's posted to our website, posted on our Facebook, and then it links back to the website to read the full article. So you're getting multiple platforms that are being touched through one effort. And that's the idea with a weekly blog. Another really great thing with a weekly blog is it's something that you could actually do a little video intro. I know a lot of you guys use the Stephen Thomas report. Excellent if you do like a little, just quick little video blurb and then attach, either a summary or even the report and email that out to people, but using that as a blog. So a lot of, and your blog posts certainly work as one of your daily posts too. So a lot of this is kind of building on what you're doing. Video, I think you need to be present video-wise nowadays. It's just the leading way that you need to be out there. And I would say a minimum of twice or once every 2 weeks, you need to be putting out a video with you in it. It's nice to do video. I know, again, Melody and Associates do a lot of realtor videos that don't have anything to do with her being in it, but those are good and again, more drawing in the clients. But you also want to be in the video yourself. So whether you're behind the camera talking, maybe talking about a property, Ruthie, you're really good about doing your videos very regularly. A lot of times you'll be talking about a current topic, interest rates dropping, whatever it might be. But again, make it client-centric, and it doesn't have to be long, just getting you there, and it makes you, again, more real and relatable and people wanting to work with you. One of the statements that was said at Inman was that people that do video, that they literally reach kind of star status with their social sphere, that they think they're kind of a celebrity when they come in the door, which we all know we're not, but fine if the client wants to think so. Now, if you're gonna do the video post, which I hope you are, good to post it obviously on Facebook, Instagram. You can push it out even through texting and things like that. Use it on your LinkedIn account. Try to integrate whatever you're doing in multiple avenues, because you might think, oh, people are gonna be seeing me all over. They really aren't, because first of all, the algorithms in which Facebook sets up, they kind of hold back you getting through to your whole social sphere. Even though they may have liked your page and what have you, they're holding it back, and only a few people are actually seeing it. So the more venues you put it out, the more likely it's gonna get seen. Plus, different people are in different mediums out there. Emailing a video post, again, is really just super dynamic. And I think it's something that you can do even with, if you don't feel comfortable giving a full message, then just do a little intro to whatever you're sending below, just to get yourself in front of the camera, in front of your client. Now, I've mentioned Lion Desk is really good for sending video, but also BombBomb is too. So BombBomb's a little bit more expensive, but Lion Desk is free up to a point, and then if you're gonna be doing a lot, you're gonna have to get their paid program, which again, is probably still a little better than the cost of BombBomb. I I've mentioned YouTube a couple times, and one of the interesting things about YouTube is the average user once they get onto YouTube will spend about 40 minutes looking at videos. So that's a pretty long time that they're sitting there watching videos. Now, it also, when you're posting, if you start a channel and you're posting regularly to YouTube, it will help your SEO, your search engine optimization. It'll help that. It's also where the millennials are. And as of 2018, they are the largest group of home buyers. So they have arrived, they're buying homes now, and that's just gonna grow and get bigger. So you kind of wanna be there. First-time home buyer information is absolutely prime through YouTube. So if you wanted to put together a little series of first-time home buyer and put that out there on YouTube, your YouTube channel, I'm telling you, you're gonna get hits, you're gonna get people watching it, and it's where the new first-time home buyers are. The really cool thing about catching a first-time home buyer is if you do your job right, they're gonna stay with you throughout their home buying and selling life, and that's very cool. Not only that, the millennials are really big on referring and reviewing, and so they will be telling their friends about you. This is such a prime area to tap into, and yet I bet maybe one of you will take it and do it. But it's pretty golden if you did. One of the things to do too is to do short videos. They don't have to be super long on YouTube. Don't think of it as having to be, long webinars, so to speak, but just short FAQs. It can be what frequently asked questions a home buyer first-time home buyer might be asking. Get it out there, because that's what they're researching. Again, be relatable and entertaining. Be a little bit entertaining if you can, and make the viewers feel comfortable with you, like they want to be drawn to want to work with you. You could even come up with a series like the trending home designs that are out there. That might appeal to a little bit more mature home buyer seller that's already been in their home. Or the home of the week, you could do something like that too. Doesn't necessarily have to be your listing. I'd probably keep it in-house Regency just to, and ask permission, can I profile your home as home of the week? But you literally could every week put a video out of home of the week. I know that you can talk to anyone on our team. They'd be more than happy for you to profile any of their listings that they have. So, and you don't have to say it isn't yours either. You can just say the home of the week. So, and again, video content can come from your regular post, just kind of recapping it in video format. And one of the really great things you can do is a sizzle reel. And this might be a little bit more of a financial investment to actually do a little sizzle reel about yourself and how you conduct yourself in business, but it's something that again will elevate you in the eyes of your client. It gives you an opportunity. You can send it out to your clients before you meet with them. You can post it, periodically to your social media and catch people that way, but it just, again, elevates you in the eyes of your potential clients out there as far as your professionalism. We've done one for our team, and then numerous of our team members have done their own sizzle reels, and we're getting ready to update ours on Wednesday this week. Now, I mentioned that Facebook does kind of have algorithms that slow down your posts getting through to your full audience. And so the reason they do that is they want you to pay to either boost or advertise your posts. And so this is something you should be doing really on at least a weekly basis. Take one of your best posts for the week, your best videos for the week or whatever, but pay to have it boosted or advertised to your sphere of influence. And I mentioned how LionDesk can do that directly, or you can import your sphere of influence and have that as a targeted audience. And so now you're getting through to a more full body of your social sphere. Now, another thing that you want to do is email weekly, because not everybody's on social media. This is one that I just got in my inbox today, but I thought it was very cool. It was Will Scott. And again, making it client-centric, not self-centric. It's not about buying a home today, although it does give a little indication. You can't see his logo up here. It's a little faded or light, but he wants people to send in recognizing heroes. So now all of a sudden, I am referring my neighbor who's a nurse, who wasn't in Will's social sphere, but now that I've referred that information to him, now that person's in his social sphere. Another great way to expand your social sphere. And not only that, he kind of says, helping local heroes be homeowners. Just planting that idea that it is about homes too. So I was giving you kudos for this great email I got today. And it was actually formatted a little differently. I kind of cut and pasted it to fit my screen. So it was better. At any rate, email weekly to your clients, just because not everybody's on social media. You can do your blog post or the Stephen Thomas report, doesn't really matter. But the reason it's so important, even if they are on social media, is because it keeps your contact information at their fingertips. I'll give you a good example. We were at Bagels and Brew, this is a few years back, but Dan and Mary Jo, past clients of ours, happened to be there too, so we were chit-chatting to them. And they said, oh, by the way, our neighbor's getting ready to move, and we wanted to refer them to you guys. And I said, oh, great, thank you. I go, would you like me to email you our contact information when I get back home? And she goes, oh, no, I've got it. You guys email us every week, I've got it right there. That's why you want to be emailing people, so that your contact information is right there. Also, it puts you top of mind on a regular basis too. But the biggie is that they've got your contact information. Now, the other thing that I would suggest doing is mailing quarterly, because again, not everybody's on social media. People get emails, but maybe they don't want to receive your email and they block you that way. But also, there's that small percentage that's older that may not be on any of this, and mailing quarterly is another way to be in front of them. So one of the things that we used to do is every year we do kind of like the President's State of the Union address. We did a State of the Market address and just kind of gave a recap of what the overall industry is doing right now. And then we also, another time during the year, we didn't ask for referrals, but we would thank for referrals. So we do a newsletter or a letter once, an email, excuse me, or a mailing letter once a year where we would thank people for sending us their referrals. And we'd say something to the effect of, we have been blessed over the years to have built our business on the support of special people like you. Thanks to you, our business now is almost exclusively by referral. It has always been our commitment to look for ways to improve our service each and every year. Today, the right team is better than ever, so if you know of anyone who's thinking about buying or selling, we hope you will send them our way. You can be sure we will give them our very best right team service. So, softly we ask for referrals, but more importantly, just kind of thanking for the leads. The other thing that I think is a great mail out, if you're gonna do the quarterly mail outs, is the company promotions. I probably wouldn't do as many as what the company does personally, but I would do a couple, like the Valentine's one is really big, the Mother's Day one's really big. So do a couple of those, or your own little contest too. And then for the B clients, not the A clients, but for the B clients, I would send them a Christmas card once a year. So those are some ideas about how you can make contact with your social sphere through soft touches. But at this point, we haven't even begun the game. So now it's time to play ball. So now we're gonna get into the good stuff. And this is where the real game begins. All that other stuff was kind of foundational. Now we're really gonna get in there and make some real personal contacts with our social sphere in really easy, nice ways. So, and this is what will actually move your sphere of influence into becoming the raving fans, because you need to give them something to cheer about if you want them to really be rooting for you and singing your praises. So everything I'm going to talk about here is going to be those A clients. And the A clients, you want to be, to get a really solid group of 100. That is, just the primo number you want to try and get. Ed and I actually worked with 200 because there was 2 of us, but the real quality begins with 100. And you don't want to get too big or it can become overwhelming. If you think about it again, using the baseball analogy, when you're in the minor leagues, your family and friends, close friends, are the ones that come and cheer you on. But when you get to the majors, you've got all these people cheering you on, and you've got raving fans and such. And so that's the idea. If you do the things we're going to talk about here, it's going to elevate your business to the major leagues. Now, if you don't have a lot of people in your social sphere right now, you don't have that 100 that you can get to, well, then I want to give you a couple ideas on how you might expand that. Or if you don't feel like you have a really good quality of 100, because it also depends, you want to have good quality as well as just 100 people. So one of the finest ways I've seen this done is to set up your own little referral network. You could also join like a LaTip or one of those networking groups, but why not put together your own of professionals? You can maybe find a CPA, an accountant, a financial planner. Don't discount the idea of like a hairdresser. I mean, everybody spills to their hairdresser, so they know when people are thinking about buying or selling. A painter, people start painting or cleaning their windows right before they're getting ready to make a move. So people like that really, and they'll appreciate, they're also people that you can refer to a lot as well. And so it can become very reciprocal. A few years ago, we actually did a challenge for our team to put together their own little network and meet for lunch with one of each of these, like 6 people. I think we said meet with 6 people for lunch and kind of share that you'd like to give them business and you'd hope that they might reciprocate. So you are a little bit more direct there. Mike and Tim, who are on our team, which nobody knows because they are the only part-time people that we've kind of grandfathered in. And that year they did it. They took the challenge. They met with 6 different people and they did over $200,000 worth of gross GCI that year. And it came from those meetings. So again, this can be a really powerful way to get some good business when you're meeting with people that you also can refer to. Now, Michaela on our team was only 23 when she joined, so her sphere of influence wasn't exactly out buying homes. And so it was a little challenging for her. So 2 of the areas that she tapped into was, one, she went to her parents' sphere of influence, the people that she knew there, that if she showed up at their door, they would know who she was. And then she also started holding open houses and did that the biggest and best way possible. First of all, she door knocked the area ahead of time to invite them to the open house. Then at the open house, she always had a contest of something that was, they'd want to try and win and they had to sign up for. And then after the open house, she would go back to everybody that came through the open house and do a little pop-by with just a little candy apple from Rocky Mountain Chocolate Factory and thank them for coming through her open house. And then just coincidentally, the most viable lead tended to win her contest. And she literally started getting some good business off of open houses, and that was some of her very first good leads in the business. Now, if you have the problem that your A-list is too big, oh darn, but that can be a problem too, because what I'm going to ask you to do as far as being in touch with these people is going to be pretty extensive, and if it's too big, you are going to lose energy of getting out there and touching all these people the way we want to. So you need to really work to get the best 100 is what you're gearing towards. So if you don't have enough, add to it and then continue to refine year after year. Some of our best discussions and I had back in the day was trying to cut back down to just keeping it at 200, because every year we'd have some years 88, 100 sales, and you had a lot of those people staying local, and so our list would grow, and it's like, but I like those people, and he's like, nope, we gotta get it down. And but we did keep it to the 200, and it built our business very successfully.
Can I ask you a question on that, Angie?
Yes.
So, because I have a big database, but how do I know if they have a family member or a good friend that's a realtor without? Do you just ask them?
I don't
Really?
worry. I never worried about that, to be honest.
Okay.
I didn't. It's just you could ask. I've seen where people have asked.
Well, I'm
but
thinking even about my pop-bys. You know what I mean? Because I've only been in the industry for a couple of years, so I'm just trying to make sure I'm
We wasted
hitting.
years delivering to somebody whose brother is a realtor.
But actually, the lead that I'm working on right now, the 5th referral, was a past real estate agent that's since retired, and she's looking to downsize now. And she remembered me when I ran into her at the hairdressers the other day, And now he obviously wasn't doing Popeyes to her, but she respected how we did business. And I want to see if I can get her to work with us. She's got realtors that live on each side of her though, so you're gonna have to win it.
Okay.
But so we didn't judge that. It's really interesting. And I'll tell you, over the years, we had a realtor one time had her own home listed, and her husband got frustrated that it wasn't selling, and so he made her, she was with another company too, but we farmed the area, and he goes, all right, I want you to give it to Ed and Angie. So they gave us the listing, we listed it and sold it within a week.
Husband not even loyal.
I know. Well, she agreed. And actually, truth is, they were just going through the process of adopting. And so she was probably a little distracted and relieved to let it go. But they became fabulous clients for us. And she eventually, well, long story, but I'm still friends with her. I was in conversation with her today. She still refers leads to us, and she's no longer in the business anymore. But yeah, so I don't think you necessarily get too judgmental on that stuff. Let it play out and see where it goes. And might you at times get a little burned? Sure. But at other times, I think you're going to be more surprised in a positive way too, if you just do the right things for the right reasons. So that'd be my take on it. So the idea here though is that smaller farms worked effectively will yield bigger results. And that's one of the things to keep in mind here, because now we're going to get into being really consistent and more personal with the touches. Now, did you guys know that in Facebook you can create a custom friends list? Mm-hmm. If you weren't aware of it, then I want to make you aware of it now. There's in the drop-down menu, it gives you the ability to do a custom friends list, and I want you to put all your 8 clients into a custom friends list. And I want you to look at that daily and make comments on their posts. Share their posts, not just likes. Likes don't count. You have to comment or actually, share something or something that's going to show up in their feed that your name did something. The other thing too is if they post something like they're sick, drop by a little get well gift. I wish I was looking for the picture, I couldn't find it. But Mochelle on our team came in with a really cute, she had little mugs made with her name on it, and then she put together a little get well kit which had like tea in it and little Kleenex, and everything was yellow too, so it just was to brighten your day type thing. It was really cute. A baby, do a congratulation, graduation, promotion, any of those things. Be sure you reach out and touch them in a good way. You could call them, you could do the pop by like I just said, or maybe you want to do something like this, the send out cards. I know we've talked about this at other meetings, but these are my beautiful granddaughters. But the guy that owns Send Out, or our rep for Send Out Cards, sent this to me just recently. He pulled it off of Facebook. It was something I had posted. He pulled it off, made a card out of it, and inside it said, I thought you could use a smile today. Take care, Brian. And just kind of a cute little touch, but it's something that is really meaningful because I love my granddaughters and makes you think of him. And the other thing to realize is that a lot of what I just talked about, graduation or a promotion or what was the other one? Oh, baby. Those things are all perhaps movable events. I mean, they may be looking to upsize. They've got more kids, or downsize because the kids are all off to school and what have you. So those are really good times to be touching base with people when they have those type of life events. Now, when you list a property and you post about it on Facebook, be sure you go back to the client who owns the home and ask them to post it as well. Because now you're not only getting a footprint of your database, but their database too. So it expands your reach in that regard, and it gets your name out there to more people. And it might get their home sold. Now, the next thing is you want to make 4 personal contacts a year. And there's a variety of different ways that you can do this. The best one I think is pop-bys. And when you do a pop-by, you definitely want to dress professionally. It's funny, I debate this sometimes with people because we've gotten more casual. But the truth is, you want to be real and relatable, but that doesn't mean that you want to show up as their buddy. You want to show up as the professional that you are, and that they can look to what to buy or sell their home. Right when COVID started, we were driving through El Polo Loco out in Rancho Santa Margarita. All of a sudden, as we're waiting in line, this gentleman comes walking up to our car window, and he's all dressed up, and it was Brent. And I thought, whoa. Well, first of all, it was funny seeing somebody dressed up because everybody was at home in their pajamas pretty much. But Brent was on his way to do a pop-by at somebody's home who he had heard might be thinking about buying or selling their home. And he had been referred by somebody else and just was doing pop-by. Well, sure enough, they ended up getting that listing, and it's probably already sold. But at any rate, the fact that he dressed professionally, went out there to make the contact, I'm sure played into part of that. So dress professionally, be friendly and upbeat, always have something to give them. That was always our rule. If I could show up with something to give, I wasn't asking for anything, people weren't gonna ever mind that I was at their door. I can't tell you how many people on our team went out and did pop-bys during COVID, and people were like, oh no, but they were very respectful. They wore their masks, they used sanitizer, they left it on the door, took a picture, sent it to the homeowner to let them know they left a little something for them on their front door. But because everybody has a Ring doorbell anymore, people saw who was there and quite often opened the door, and they had nice conversations. They had some of the better conversations they'd ever had doing pop-bys before, all socially distanced, of course. But it was a really profitable time to go out there and make contacts. But when you do the pop-by, get to the point right away. Hi, just stopping by to give you a little da-da-da-da-da. And then I always step back like I'm getting ready to leave. So I hand it and then step back so I'm not acting like I'm moving in or like I expect to be invited in. And so I step back, and after I say, here, stopping by with a little C's candy to wish you guys a Merry Christmas, let's say, then I step back and let them say something. And sometimes they might invite me in. And if they do, I always said no the first time. And if they asked a second time, then I might go in, because some people feel obligated to invite you in. They really don't want you in. But if they asked a couple times, I figured, okay, they really are okay with me coming in and visiting a little bit, then I'd visit for a little bit and keep it brief. But otherwise, they might say, oh, how are you guys doing? And I'd share a little bit, and then I'd say, how's your family doing? And we'd visit for a few minutes, and then you're out of there. Other times, they might seem busy, or you might be running behind in your pop-bys and you need to get moving along. So you just make it kind of brief and friendly. And again, never asked for business when I was doing these, but a lot of business came from it. Now, another way you can make a personal contact is through phone calls. I wasn't a real big person on phone calls. I'd much prefer to go see people face to face, but I already in my outline here have asked that you make that first initial phone call, either introducing your career or the Hall of Fame. But you can use the same philosophy as what I did for the pop-bys, only with the phone calls. And I will have a list in my notes of reasons you could make a phone call into people. Again, you're not asking for anything, you're always offering something. Another great thing to do with your sphere is to set up coffee dates, lunch dates, or dinner dates. What Ed and I used to do is we'd split it, and I'd take 12, so one a month, of key 8+8 clients that I could ask that were the ladies. He'd ask 12 of the guys, and we'd each do separate lunch dates, one a month. And then once a month, we'd do a couple, one of the couples. So we'd hit literally 36 of our 8+ clients throughout the year. We'd have a meal with them or a coffee or something. But that again was really powerful. Now, like I said, we didn't ever like to ask for business, but you also don't want to go and not have them know that it's not just a friendly, let's get together, a chummy lunch, but you want to kind of plant the idea of business in their minds. So one of the things that we always did was just say, hey, I'll get this. In fact, I can write it off. But I do have to talk business. So do you have any real estate questions at all? And when they say no, okay, well, we talked business, or maybe they do have a real estate question. But it's usually at the end of the meal that I'll do that. Quite often though, people love to talk real estate, so chances are they'd already talked about it during the meal anyway. So we've already talked real estate, so I can write it off and then move on. So you've planted the idea though that it was a little bit real estate related. Another way that you can make personal touches with your sphere of influence is through a client party. I used to love to do tea parties. So Every year would do an annual tea it started with about 25 ladies, and in the last year I did it, we had 80 ladies that had to keep changing venues. But something I really love doing, and what I did the first few years is I literally go out and personally invite them to the tea. So whether or not they came, it was a pop by, and I made a nice contact with them. And then later years, I just would mail the invites. But it gave you the top of mind experience through that. Then if tea isn't your gig, you can do a client seminar. Two of the hot topics, I think, for client seminars, and this is another way, if you don't have a big sphere, you could build your sphere of influence, and that is through doing either a first-time homebuyers client seminar, and like I mentioned before, YouTube's where those guys are. So do a series of little video posts inviting people to come to your client seminar for first-time homebuyers, answers some questions there, and then tease them to come to the full seminar. And the other thing you can do there is do target advertising on Facebook to gear into the right demographic. Then the other one I think is really powerful is empty nesters. You're catching them a little later in their home buying, selling sphere, but there are a lot of really good tax advantages and such to downsizing, and yet a lot of people are unaware of what the tax setups are. They're still stuck in some of the old tax setups that don't exist anymore today. So you can target them again. They're probably more on Facebook, so another way to target that group. You could also do a social event. You might have caught that Karen Quinn is doing an ice cream, what is it called? What's the funnel cake party here in our parking lot. And there's a lot of different things like that you could do. You could do an ice cream social. You could do a Taco Tuesday taco truck. You could do a Super Bowl party chili cook-off. You could do a family movie night right here in the Regency room. Here's another one, start a book club. And with that, when you're meeting regularly to discuss the book, you could do little soft things that would remind them that you're in real estate.
A notepad to keep notes.
Pardon?
A notepad to keep notes.
Yeah, there you go, exactly. But I know some of the people here at Regency also do at Thanksgiving time, stop by, say hi, and grab a pie at Thanksgiving time. So the idea is to kind of come up with some ideas. You can even think outside the box. One of the things that we did many years ago, which ended up being just huge for our business, and we kind of stumbled into it in a sense, but we had a condo out in the desert that we gave to clients, sent out a letter once a year, and they could book either Monday through Friday or Friday through Monday, with a switch over midday on each of those days. All they had to do was pay for the cleaning, and we kept it booked 9 months a year and got a lot of business from that. So, think outside the box. Another thing, I love that Tom Ferry, first of all, Secrets of Top Selling Agents is a Facebook group. Secrets of Top Selling Agents. You all should go to it and scan some of the Facebook Live events they've been doing. They do the Facebook Live event, and then they will repost it so you can watch it at any time. Tom Ferry did a really good one, and he talked about a really great idea for during this time frame, COVID-19. And it's all spelled out there. I'm going to give a real snippet of it, but he basically said, you send out to your database, do you want to know what COVID-19 has done to your home's value? If I can set up a 15-minute Zoom meeting with you to share with you, and then he goes through exactly what you want to share, and you'll do a blast with this. You do it through your social media, you do it through an email blast, and you also do a letter that you mail out to people. They can go right on to Calendly, whatever the app is, and book their appointment, and then you just need to set it up and do it. And what he was talking about, I wish I'd written down the term he used, but he goes, there's early researchers that when they're in the early stages of thinking about buying or selling, they're the type of people that you're kind of fishing for with this. Because once you get them, you've answered their early questions, you've made a good connect with them to then follow through with whatever they might be thinking about doing. But again, that whole Facebook Live is there on that site, and there's other great ones too. Katie Lance is on there, and oh gosh, I can't think of her name, but there's another social media gal that I like even more than Katie that is on there a lot too. So think outside the box, come up with some ideas that might meet the times a little bit better. Early on, you have more time and less money. Later on, you have less time, but a little bit more money. So I've thrown out a lot of different ideas, some that cost money and some that don't. You need to kind of figure out what you're gonna do to where your budget is with time and money, and put together your best plan for all this. One of the things you definitely wanna do when you're meeting with clients is to set up a dialogue of what I call the client for life. And we would do it usually twice throughout a transaction. Once at the very beginning, and let people know that, you know, we're gonna be in this business a long time. And just like you have a doctor, a dentist, a hairdresser, whatever, I wanna be your realtor for life. And so, you know, I'm gonna give you the finest service, and I hope you'll look to me as your realtor for life. Then later at the end of the transaction, we'd say something like, we've so enjoyed going through this transaction with you, and as I mentioned at the beginning, you know, we hope you'll make us your realtor for life. And even better, you nice people like you usually know nice people, so if you have any friends or relatives that are looking for a realtor, we'd love to be their realtor for life as well. But in the interim, if you ever have any questions or real estate related questions, please give us a call. So words to that effect. But just planning the idea. You might think, does it really make a difference to say it? Well, I found out it absolutely does. Like I said, we were doing this and not sure if it really made a difference. And then one year we got a call out to some past clients of ours that were ready to list their home and wanted us to come out and give them a market evaluation and list their home. Well, it was kind of funny because I knew like a year or so after we had sold them this particular home that they had become best friends, and I mean really good friends. These guys got together all the time with another couple that worked in our office. They're no longer here, so I can tell this story. But at any rate, I mean, these guys were in bowling leagues together. They hung out at each other's houses every week. So we go out, we do the listing presentation, and we get the listing. And after we signed paperwork, we kind of asked him, so, you know, I know you're really close friends with, you know, so-and-so, and just curious why you asked us to list your home, or probably worded a little better than that. But they go, oh, well, you told us that you were a realtor for life. I'm like, well, yeah, of course, that's, yeah. So the words matter. It means something to people. Another thing that happened to us, and this is when you really are making the right touches with people, they want you to succeed. They believe in you and they'll stand behind you. And we got called out to list a property in Coto de Caza one time. And when we were going out, they said that we were going to be in competition, that they were also meeting with some other friends of theirs had an agent that they insisted they had to meet with as well. They had been referred to us from some other clients in Coto and said we had to meet with us. So we get out there, we did a listing presentation, and as we're sitting down, they go, oh, by the way, you guys got the listing, because it turns out both our friends were referring you. So that was pretty cool to get referred by two agents. But it wasn't unique to us, because I know Marisa, she just left, but Marisa just recently had two people referring her to a client on Facebook. And so when you can get those multiple endorsements, I mean, people don't even want to interview anyone else. So pretty cool. Now, just like the stadiums have fan appreciation, we need to have fan appreciation. So when somebody gives you a referral lead, it's so critical that you thank them for that lead. And not at the close of escrow. You need to do it right when the lead comes in. And I don't mean the day of, but within 2 days. And I'll tell you, there's a real science to this, I think. So somebody calls me and says, you know, my neighbor is looking to sell their home, and I wanted to refer you guys to them. I try to see if I can get the contact information of the client, or the potential client, because it's better if I have control and can contact them. Sometimes that works, and other times, oh no, they'll call you. So I wait a day or so before I take my thank you gift out, but I'm gonna make an in-person delivery of the thank you gift. And the reason I wait is I want to see if we make that connection. And even if I have their contact information, I'm calling them, I may or may not make a connection with them right away, and they may not call me back right away. So when I take the gift out, I have in my letter an update, thank you so much for referring the Smiths to us. I've called them and left a message. I haven't heard back from them yet, but I'm looking forward to giving them our best right team service. Or maybe, I still haven't heard from them yet, looking forward to helping them when we do hear from them. Now I've dropped a gift by to them with this note updating that we haven't made the connection yet. They feel a little indebted to make sure that the contact happens, and they become your advocate for making sure that you connect. And that's why I wait a day or two and then give the update. Now, of course, if we've already made the connection, we're meeting Thursday, I give that kind of an update there too. So really important though that you personally deliver a gift. If in fact you miss them at the door, then take a picture of it and text it to them and let them know you left a little something for them. It's best not to give money. I don't think it's best to give even gift cards. You want to do something that gives a little bit of a presentation, like Michaela here did a beautiful presentation of a thank you gift. She then posted it to social media, and it says a little box to say thank you to our sweet friends for referring us. There's no better compliment, and a simple thank you just isn't enough. And so, she's making it, again, client-centric, not about her, even though it is kind of. But again, planting the idea that we love referrals, and you get a gift if you refer. But presentation's important. Now, also, another thing to remember is that even if a lead goes awry, because they don't all work out, let people know that you appreciate it. So let's say I called them and they'd already listed, or called them and they changed their mind. I'll still deliver a thank you gift to my referring source and tell them how much I appreciated that they thought to even refer us, that we really, really appreciate it. So the reason you want to do this is because sometimes you'll feel bad if something doesn't work out, and it's like, oh, I'm not going to go there again. You don't want them to feel bad. You want them to feel good. These people refer. They're one of those connectors. And so you want that connector to continue to connect. And if they feel appreciated, they're probably likely to do it. If in fact you bring by a little gift when something didn't even work out, they may even feel a little indebted to try and get you another good lead. So now the next thing is treat every closing as if it was the World Series. And what I mean by that is, we are problem solvers as we go through a transaction, and sometimes, there's kind of tense moments and what have you, but if you end on a really high note, that's what they're gonna remember. And so you wanna deliver 5-star service throughout, but the biggest thing to creating raving fans is finishing really good. So you want to make sure that you deliver their closing papers, that you deliver a closing gift, and that you follow up even a week or so after they get settled into their home and make sure that everything's okay. And you may even have some more problems to solve, which nobody likes to have to do that, but that's where you start to stand apart from other people. I remember Dave and Jan Pingree back in the probably 80s, maybe 90s, but they, whenever they got their UPS client, it came this way. They had closed on a sale of theirs. They had represented the sellers, so their sellers were gone, but the buyers had moved in. It happened to be in their farm, so they were doing a pop by and just asked how they were doing, and they said, well, the dishwasher's not working. And we told our agent, and he said, not his problem, it's closed. And he just washed his hands of it. And so they stepped in, made sure they got the dishwasher situation resolved. Well, when that guy, about 6 months later, had a job transfer, he used them to sell the home. But better yet, he worked for UPS, and he was real connected with their reload department. And so he told the reload department about Dave and Jan and got them connected, and that became a huge source of their business. I might have muffled that story a little bit, but the gist of it is repairing that dishwasher, making sure that repair took place, is what got them the UPS lead, which became a boatload of business for them. And that stupid agent that said, not my problem, it's closed, lost a boatload of business. So give 5-star business. service. Now, did you know that the most likely time to get a referral lead is within 30 days of a closing? Because you're really top of mind. And if you give people things to talk about, like just this incredible service throughout the transaction, they're more likely then to be talking to others about you. I'm gonna actually be doing a seminar in the fall about delivering 5-star service, because it's a seminar in itself. But just think about that 30 days after, just still staying in touch with your clients during that time in a really good way, and ending on a really good note, and taking care of any lingering issues, really important. We're getting down to the end, I promise. Now, what I've shared so far may all sound good, but I'm going to share this little saying here. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, but everyone forgets the second half of that quote. The road to heaven is paved with good actions. And this is where, you know, things kind of make a difference as to whether or not you're going to be that all-star or still working in the minors. And that is, are you going to put into action the things that I talked about here? So as I say, I'm going to be putting the notes into our share drive. I suggest you go through them and pull out and put together your own plan of action of what you're going to do to create this really good connection with your sphere of influence. I was going to recap it here, but I'm not going to because of time. But most importantly is the consistency in the regular posting and touches through social media, and then those personal contacts of your 100 and working to get it to a really cream of the crop 100 people, just really doing that real effectively, and then appreciating every referral that comes your way. Sometimes we get so busy working the referral, we forget to go back and thank, but don't forget that thank you, it's huge. And then finish every transaction like it's the World Series. So to sum everything up, I believe Maya D'Angelo puts it best, and I'm sure you've heard this before, but I've learned that people will forget what you said, and people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And so be consistent in making good, positive contacts with your sphere of influence. Make them feel good about you, and they're gonna want to help you and be your raving fans. And that's how you create those raving fans, is make people feel good. The end.